beers has always been a passion. Apart from that, he was born in an entrepreneur family, so naturally business came naturally to him. Along with his brother Anand and partner Neeraj, the man himself, Navin Mittal, is with me here today, and he's going to tell me a little more about this journey into brewing beers, the Gateway Brewing Company, and of course the Gateway Taproom. Hi Navin.
Hi.
Navin, how did this, of course, I sort of know that you are from a business family, and so perhaps entrepreneurship or business was perhaps in your blood. But how did this, did you actually want to become an entrepreneur, or were you sort of led along, or was it something that you were passionate about?
Well, you know, the kind of background we had while growing up, right? We got a sense that, you know, we are being groomed to kind of do businesses.
Okay.
Right? My father came from Calcutta and he did work for somebody here, but he always had a desire to start something of his own, right? And while growing up, we've kind of seen him, you know, grow his business, get bigger and bigger.
So how did beers happen?
So beers happened quite recently, actually. Not recently, if you go back to about 2003, it's been quite a few years.
Okay.
While I was in the US, I was, you know, studying there, working there, came across various types of beers which were different from your conventional beers,
of course.
Right? So Sierra Nevada Pale Ale, you know, is one beer which I really liked over there. I liked Sam Adams beers as well. And, you know, when I came back to India, I couldn't find these beers here. So then I used to ask my friends and family, hey, if you're traveling, why don't you, get me a 6-pack of this beer? And they used to all laugh. They're used to it, you know, people ask for whiskeys and you're asking for beer. And beer is such a drink that even if somebody got me a 6-pack, you could drink 6 in one evening.
Absolutely, it's not going to last forever.
So in 2006, you know, just sitting at home and wondering, you know, what is this product I'm drinking? Right? Many times people don't know what they're drinking. They don't even know where it comes from.
True,
right?
very true.
And I just kind of went to Google and did some queries, and I found that it was a big hobby in the United States. And beer is made with 4 basic ingredients. And people are making beers at home. So I was very intrigued, and I read and I read and I read, and I kind of learned a lot. And it seemed very doable. I said, if they can do it, and it's, you know, it's just like cooking, you know, I can do it.
Of course.
So I imported the ingredients, you know, somebody was traveling, I called for yeast and I called for hops. Malt, obviously, I couldn't call for because nobody would get me 10 kg of malt. So I bought it locally, and there was a supplier who was happy enough to send me 5 kilos, right, from Gurgaon, and he's a supplier today as well.
Wow, that's so nice.
And I started brewing at home. And little by little, I learned a lot, and, you know, I used to get my friends and family to try the beers. In about 3-4 years' time, I was fairly confident that the beers I'm making, the knowledge I've acquired is out there. As in, I know quite a bit about it.
Excellent.
So I traveled to Belgium, I traveled to the UK. When I tasted those beers, I realized that I'm making such beers as well.
Excellent.
So in about 2010, I said, you know, I need to make this, you know, commercially
viable. Of course.
Viable.
Of course.
You know, it's interesting. It could be commercially viable. That's when, you know, I met my partners, Rahul Mehra in Gateway Brewing Company and Krishna, who was staying in Sydney at that time. And they wanted to get involved in the craft beer space, and they said, you know, should we get together and do something? So we put our minds together and we said, yes, we must do this. So 2011, I went to UK, I did a short course in brewing, you know, kind of affirmed my knowledge.
Of course.
Right? And then we got going with it, went to the excise department to find out the policies, which are kind of non-existent at that time. And one thing led to the other, you know, from brewing at home, being passionate about craft beer, and then being passionate about bringing that product to everybody in Mumbai and Pune and probably across India as well. You know, we just got going.
Great. Navin, tell me something, since of course in your case you were born into a family of entrepreneurs and business family really, but do you think entrepreneurship is something which is inherent, inborn, or can it be taught and learned?
I think it can be taught and learned, right? Because it's always, you know, either you kind of formally learn it, right? Or you learn it, you know, from people around you through your experiences, right? But obviously, it's not for everyone. It's extremely challenging. It's difficult. You have to be single-minded. You have to pursue that goal. You know, there are lots of ups and downs when you start a new business, especially in our country. You know, where things aren't as clear as they should be. So it's not for everybody, and it is for everybody, right? So you could give it a shot.
So Navin, if you were to look back when you kind of sort of formally started, what was the first year like? What were the tough lessons learned?
So when I first started, you know, it is overwhelming. It's like, you know, giving somebody a book and telling him to read the book, and there are a lot of people who say, I don't read books. Why? Because who's going to go through 500 pages? But you don't have to read the book in one go, right? You're reading one page at a time.
Yes.
Similarly, when you think about starting a business, right, you can overwhelm yourself thinking that, oh, how will I do this? How will I get money? How will I put everything together? Now, in hindsight, when I look at it, damn, we have a restaurant and we have a brewery standing, right? If one was supposed to stand outside and think, my God, how do I put this restaurant up? He's going to get overwhelmed.
Of course,
right?
of course.
You have to take steps.
Steps, yes.
Right? Stop thinking about how you will do this. Go ahead and start doing it.
Navin, if I were to ask you that if it's passion, knowledge, hard work, skills, and luck, which of these really make a business take or successful?
I think luck plays a big role.
Really?
And luck, I would say, you have to do the right thing at the right time, and you're not, you don't live in a vacuum. Everything has to kind of fall in place for your business and you to kind of succeed.
So after brewing beers and sort of having the Gateway Brewing Company successfully for so many years, how did this foray into the food aspect happen? Was it a logical conclusion?
So in the beginning, we wanted to be a brew pub. As in, we wanted to be a restaurant where we had our brewery.
Of course.
Where we could, produce the beers and kind of supply them there. But the policies were non-existent at that time.
Oh, I see.
So we kind of thought through it and we kind of realized that if we were able to make it and sell to 50, 70, 100 restaurants, we'd probably have a larger reach.
True.
Right? And perhaps that model would make sense. So we kind of pursued that model.
Okay.
We had to work with the excise department to kind of see how we can modify the policies. Fortunately, they understood that the policy which they had at that time was lacking and could be expanded in scope. So we started off that way. And over the years, we are people who like to make lots of craft beers. There's different types of craft beers. Our clients, have supported us all throughout, and they really get excited when we put out a new beer. But the reality is, the space within each bar or restaurant is very limited.
Yes.
Right? This is Bombay after all, not Bangalore, where they have spaces. So we could probably have 2 beers on tap and introduce the third one. Change that once every 3 months or so. But we wanted to do a lot more.
Yeah.
So eventually, when Anand, who's always been an investor in this business, thought about expanding this business, saying, okay, where can we take this? Should we do a restaurant? He really got excited about the whole idea. As brewers, we said, wow, we have 3 beers out. When we do the taproom, we'll at least have 10 or 12.
Of course.
Right? And we had an idea about what kind of food we want and what kind of space we want. So we looked at various photographs, kind of discussed it. And eventually, when we come here now, we realize that what we thought to do has been translated into
Wow, that's such a nice feeling. Navin, if you were to give tips to people who want to sort of jump onto this bandwagon of this food and beverage business, which on the face of it seems very, very glamorous and exciting, lots of young people, oh, I want to get into the food business. Is it a good time?
See, there is glamour everywhere, right? Every business, every onlooker looks at a business and say, my God, there's so much money to be made, right? So Reliance Jio looks at the entire telecom sector and says, these guys aren't doing justice, let me do something bigger and better, right? Or somebody looks at a restaurant and says, my God, this restaurant is so beautiful, I wish I had my own restaurant.
Exactly.
You've been inspired like this. Right?
I'm sure.
I would say go ahead and do it, right? Leave the naysayers alone. Forget the tips. Because if you ask a person who started the restaurant for tips, I may just discourage you. When we wanted to start a brewery, we spoke to people who had been in the industry. And we said, listen, we want to open a brewery and make beer and sell beer. They said, don't do it. Right? Because you don't understand it. It's extremely complicated. It's very difficult.
Oh my God.
Don't get into it.
Exactly.
So if somebody told me, should I start a restaurant? I would say, go ahead and start it. Right? They would say, should I do it? That's not my call.
Of course.
Right? Will I make money? That call I can't make. So let's assume that the F&B sector is growing very rapidly.
Yes.
Okay. But if you get a location which is terrible, right? It does not matter. No matter where the industry is headed, you're not doing it.
If you don't get your product right, you can't blame yes, absolutely.
So I would say you want to get into industry, go ahead and get into the industry. If you need help, yes, I can tell you, where we got what from and how to do certain things and how not to do certain things, right? Because right now, the market is not saturated, right? We are growing at a decent clip, but still the spending power, as in, people wanting to go out and spend and eat, right? Is not as prevalent as what you would find in the US or the UK or other countries. Because our culture is more about cooking at home and eating at home, and then once in a while going out. It's more like a luxury for us.
Totally.
So there is some time to for us to kind of get assimilated into going out and eating versus cooking at home.
Yes.
Right? But yes, it's open. The market is open. The industry is open. Go ahead and do it, and get your product right, get your location right. I think you should be able to succeed.
Great. How would you define success, and what does success really mean to you?
success to me is, doing what I set out to do.
Okay.
Right? Now, to each person, it's different for every person.
Of course.
Right? Whether I
Absolutely.
say I want to start, like when I started off, I said I want to produce these beers, I want to make them available in Mumbai in various bars and restaurants. I feel I've achieved that particular goal and have succeeded in that aspect. Right? When we set out to do the restaurant, I said, okay, I've achieved that particular goal and have succeeded there. Right? Ultimately, each of us will have to define what success means. Right? Either it is a monetary achievement,
yes,
either it is spiritual fulfillment, or it is your regular goal setting and kind of achieving that, right? So it's different for everybody. I would say kind of think through as to what you can define success as for yourself and achieve that, and you'll be happy. But if you look at other people and say that, listen, I need to have 100 restaurants and I have only 2 and be unhappy, then obviously you'll always be unhappy. But if that goal is 100 restaurants, go ahead and try to get it, and perhaps that's success for you.
So what is your mantra for success?
My mantra for success is be focused, right? And do the best you can. And there will be frustrations, there will be excitement, and it's all a part of the journey, and keep at it. Don't focus on, the monetary aspect of it so much. Don't go out and say, listen, I want to make money, that's why I'm doing these things, or I'm making these decisions because I will make more money when I do these. Go from a product perspective, go from a marketing perspective as to how you can, excite your customers through your product, through your food, through your service, and then I think your money eventually flows from there. So that's my mantra. Really.
Wow, thank you so much, Navin. That was Navin Mittal from the Gateway Brewing Company and the Gateway Taproom, sharing with us his success mantra. If you enjoy watching Mini's Food Fundas, do subscribe to my channel.